To predict the full standings for the NBA 2025 season, starting with the East. Today is the East predictions. So 15 seed, I got the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, they're by far the worst team in the East. I feel like they don't really have any stars, and Cam Thomas hasn't even signed back. So Porter Jr. is about to score 30 points a game. Yellow Ball and the Hornets have 14 now. I mean, they have a lot of young talent that are really good. Brandon Miller. They have like Concanubo, a lot of other players, but LaMelo never stays healthy, so I have them at 14th now. They could jump up to like maybe play-in status. I would not be surprised if they're playing, but I think LaMelo will get injured again. And I mean, Brandon Miller has to carry it, and last year that didn't go well either. And I got the Bulls at the 13th seed. Giddy hasn't signed back. I mean, they have solid players, but like Kobe White is like their best player. So, I mean, Noah Senge, Matas Buzelis, Vucevic, they have like a mix of veterans and young players, but I don't think they're going to be that good. 12th, I would not be surprised if the Wizards made the play-in. They have a mix of veterans and young players, but their young core is really good. Alex Sarr, AJ Johnson, Bob Carrington, Keyshawn George, and many other players. And then they have CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton as some veterans. So I feel like that would be some good picks for them. This roster is pretty solid. They could get some wins. But, I mean, they still are probably not ready enough to be a playing team. And CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton are solid players, but I don't think they'll lead them to many wins. The Heat at 11. I predict them not even making the play-in, even after the Norman Powell addition, because Bam and Tyler Hero, they didn't really play well after Jimmy left. I mean, they made the 8th seed last year, but they lost quickly versus the Cavaliers by so much. Remember that series? And I feel like they're just not, like, with Bam as number one, who degressed a lot last year. I don't know if he'll go back to form. Hero, solid, but as the best offensive option, but his defense won't really stand well. So I feel like with him and Powell in the backcourt, I mean, Bam has to really carry defense. I mean, they got Davion Mitchell, who's a really good defender. Haywood Highsmith there too, and a lot of other solid players. Jaime Jaquez, Jovic, but I don't think they will really like. After that Jimmy Butler trade, they didn't like win many games either, so I don't think they're gonna win too many games. Number 10, I got the Toronto Raptors making the play-in. Actually, is this number 10 or number 9? I think it's number 10, yeah. I have the Raptors making the play-in because, I mean, I feel like they could take a solid leap last year. They were pretty solid, but a lot of players got injured, and I feel like they got a pretty good core. Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram playing his first minutes as a Raptor alongside Manuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Hurdle, Grady, and Colin Murray Boyles, who they drafted. So I feel like they have a pretty solid core that could make the play in that. We're not have the Boston Celtics because I think they will make some more trades before the season starts, definitely. But they do not really have a good depth anymore like they did in previous seasons that won them championships, and Tatum is injured. They lost Tatum, Porzingis, and Holiday, 3 All-Star caliber players, plus Al Horford, one of their best role players, and they got back Anthony Simons, who possibly will get traded later, and I think George Niang. That's basically it. So their depth is really going to be not good. Jaylen Brown and Derek White going to lead the team, but I don't think that's going to get too many wins as definitely before, because you saw in the playoffs, they did not really look really that good without Tatum. And They also lost a ton of depth. Peyton Pritchard is probably the third best player, but then no starting center right now. Uh, Nemes Keita or Xavier Tillman is starting. So I do not really like this team. Definitely there will be trades and stuff. But I have them right now at number 9. Number 8, I have the Indiana Pacers also because of injury. Halliburton got injured, so he's not going to be here the whole season. While for the Celtics, Tatum will possibly come back. Halliburton will not. But I feel like they will be higher than the Celtics because of their depth. They only lost Halliburton, and they still have players and they lost Miles Turner too, which is a big hit. But they still have TJ McConnell and Andrew Nembhard who could be the point guards. They got Siakam still, Neesmith. They added Jay Huff as a center. Isaiah Jackson coming back from Achilles tear. He was a pretty solid center for them before he tore his Achilles. And they have Ben Shepherd over top, and they still have a lot of great talent. And I feel like they would be around a playing team, but they could be around 6 to 10. Same with Boston. The East is so hard to predict because of these injuries, and any team can jump, any team can fall. Number 7, I got the Milwaukee Bucks. They lost Damian Lillard, and they were the 6th seed, I believe, last year, or the 5th seed. But, even with Giannis, they could not beat the Pacers in the first round. And they lost Dave. They added Miles Turner, but I don't think that's making a huge difference. They have solid depth with Kevin Porter Jr. They have Gary Trent, Torian Prince, AJ Green, and Kyle Kuzma. Gary Harris signed there too, along with Ryan Rollins coming back and stuff. But the Milwaukee Bucks, they aren't that good because they're just Giannis and a bunch of role players. Miles Turner is the second best player, which, even in Indiana, he wasn't the second best player. But because they have Giannis, who is top 3 player in the league, I have them at 7. They could be around maybe 9 or 10, but I have them at 7. And at number 6, I got the Detroit Pistons. Detroit is a good team last year. They showed that they're finally not one of the worst teams in the league, but they lost Malik Beasley, Shooter, and Tim Hardaway Jr., 3 of their veterans. They did sign Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson to try to fill those alongside Jaden Ivey coming back. But I think they'll be a good team, but I don't know if they would jump higher than 6. They could, but I have them at 6 right now. Atlanta Hawks at number 5. They did really good this offseason, adding Porzingis, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Luke Kennard to the team alongside with Asa Newell from the draft, with improvement from Zachary Risaje and Jalen Johnson coming back from injury. He was looking like a really good all-star. This team, probably the best team Trae Young have had in his career, besides maybe 2021 when he made the conference finals. But this team is definitely a threat in the East. They could make the conference finals this year. We'll have to see how Porzingis looked, but before he had that weird sickness, he looked really good, all-star caliber. Jalen Johnson looked really good before his injury. They just have a ton of depth. Dyson Daniels, too. A lot of defense. Great role players. Great depth. And they finally have a center. Okongwu was still there, too. But they don't have Clint Capella anymore, who didn't really help them too much. With Trae Young leading the show, also a lot more selfless, a lot more playmaking this past few years instead of scoring too much. I feel like he's going to definitely have a great team. Number 4, I have the Orlando Magic. Orlando added Desmond Bane to this offseason and kept some of their depth, including Mo Wagner, who last year was injured, but he was really good. One of the running of 6th man of the year last year before his injury. Jalen Suggs is also coming back from injury. He looked really good in the season before he tore his ACL or meniscus. And Paolo and Franz, they started really good, but with all these injuries. But with Desmond Bane on the team, adding a lot of offense, and keeping all their depth. They have a ton of good defenders, and they added Jace Richardson as well for offense. Like adding offense to the team really helps them a lot. And I feel like Orlando can definitely go back to the fourth seed like they did in around that fourth seed 2 seasons ago. Number 3, I got Philly. This is kind of controversial because Philly was not good last year. But Philly, I feel like will come back. Joel Embiid should be healthy in the start of the season. And they added VJ Edgecombe, Trent Watford. They did lose Yabusele, but they're most likely going to get back Quentin Grimes, who was a great part of their roster. And with the improvements to Jerry McCain, hopefully a healthy PG after his surgery, and Tyrese Maxey, this team is pretty solid. I like their depth. Maybe adding a trade or two. But this team, I feel like, could come back and like they have a chance, definitely, to go to the conference finals for the first time in Embiid's career. Because he's finally healthy. He hasn't been healthy for so long. New York. New York had a pretty solid offseason. They added back some depth. They added Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele, who's definitely going to help their depth. They need that a lot because their bench last season in the playoffs, it was not that good. They were playing DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet a lot. I mean, they're solid, but with the additions of Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele, it'll bolster their depth. Still have the big starting five with Jalen Brunson, Mikal, and OG, and Cat. Dante DiVincenzo is still there. I mean, not Dante DiVincenzo. Josh Hart is still there. So, definitely this team. I mean, last year they made the conference finals. They were pretty high seed as well last year, the third seed. I feel like with the East, Cavs and Celtics falling, I feel like second seed is definitely possible. They literally hit this 2 years ago, I believe they made the second seed. And then finally, number 1, Cavs. Last season, they kind of choked in the playoffs, but injuries was definitely a part of that. This season, however, with the East wide open, I fully expect the Cavs to go back to the first seed again. I mean, they have a lot of like players, and they're pretty much unstoppable, especially in the regular season. They won 64 games last year. I expect them to win around the same this year with Mobley and Mitchell, Garland, Allen, and with the addition of Lonzo Ball, who is great as well, adding defense to their point guard position, which they didn't really have with Ty Jerome, who kind of stunk it up in the playoffs, I'm not going to lie. And they still have great depth. DeAndre Hunter is on that team. Max Strus and Dean Wade is on that team. I feel like this team is going to be great. So, adding Larry Nance Jr. as well. I feel like they got good depth. Finally, a caliber player that can play backup center, too, for their team.